Hey there, Heather. Hello there. It's Jeff Carradine. Welcome you to another Stone Cold Hockey video. We are doing the 1970-71 Montreal Canadiens and try to see if Ken Dryden can make a difference early on. I know they won the Stanley Cup and all that, but I just want to see if Ken Dryden would have made a difference if he played earlier in the season. Anyway, the East, Boston, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver are your top four. Buffalo's tied with Vancouver, and the Rangers are 1 point back. Well, still early, of course. In the West, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and LA are the top four, with St. Louis, Philly, and California bringing up the rear. Goal scoring, Danny Grant of the Minnesota North Stars with 19 goals. He leads all the NHL with Erlen Kurtenbach. Yes, that's his real name. 15 for the Canucks. Phil Esposito and Gilbert Perreault with 13 each. Our top goal scorers, Peter Mahovlich and John Beliveau, both with 9. Anyway, assist-wise, Bobby Orr is now the assist leader. He jumped ahead of our boy JC Tremblay for that. Busick, Hodge, and Cashman are also in the assisting. So the top 5 assist guys, 4 of them for Booston. JC Tremblay, 20 assists. And then John Belleville's got 11. Point to attempt. Points wise, Bobby Orr leads with Johnny Busick second, Danny Grant third. JC Tremblay 6th in points. That's pretty good. Belleville's 14th in his final season, which would be his final season. P. Mahalish 25th. Goaltending, Jacques Plante with a 165 goals against, 7-1 and 6. Tony Esposito second, 6-1 and 2. They should put him in more often. And Phil Meyer is third with a 189. Our other guy, Rogie, is number 11 at 269. Hard to believe, but yeah, Deschardes above 500 at 6-5 and 4. But like Roy Everett's playing 7 games, he has a worst goal. Bertie Perron 2-7 and 3, 288. So anyway, the standings: Montreal second. As we said, yeah, by points percentage, the Canucks would be out of there. Well, Vancouver's played 22 games. Everyone's, yeah, they're the only team in the East to play more than 19 games. Vancouver keeps playing. Anyway, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, LA. Minnesota's got a good point percentage too. We've scored 67 goals, gave up 44. 702 at home, 6 and 4 on the road. Montreal. Our stats: Jean 6 and 3, Fire 6-1 and 2. Ken Dryden has only played 3 games, but done pretty well. JC Tremblay, Jean Beliveau, Pete Mahovlich. I think we're on a winning streak. We're on a 6-game winning streak, mind you. That's amazing. You see our best wins and our best losses. 11 hat tricks. Jean Beliveau with a hat trick against California. The only guy other than Dennis Hall to do it for an original 16. LA St. Louis, the game from Halloween night, is number 1. Pittsburgh, Vancouver, October 25th, when Pittsburgh finally won a game. And LA, Philly, October 29th. November 25th. We play Chicago. My boy Chicago. It's Rogie versus Tony. Good old Rogie. Phil Meyer and Ken Dryden are your goalies there. Tony Esposito with Gary Desjardins, Gilles Meloche, and Ken Brown also in the net. What do we have for players? We have the Roadrunner Yvan Cournoyer, Pete Mahovlich, Pistol Pete Maravich, no Maravich, Jacques Lemaire, Jean Beliveau, Gentleman Jean Beliveau, Mark Tartif, who would do better in the WHA, John Ferguson, our policeman, Guy Laplante, a good defenseman, Mickey Redmond, who would head to Detroit and become an icon, especially with his color commentating on TV broadcasts. Phil Roberto, the guy who got an assist on Jean Belivau's 500th goal. Henri Pocket Rocket Richard. JC Tremblay, who would also do better in the WHA. Claude LaRose. Rajon Houle, Peanut as they call him. Bobby Sheehan, Bill Collins, Serge Savard, young Serge Savard. Leon Rochefort, Guy Charon, who had 700 games in the NHL without making the playoffs once. That was a record for a while. Terry Harper, Larry Plow, Ralph Backstrom, who was at the end of his career. The Kings decided to trade him. No, the Habs decided to trade him to the Kings. because he wanted to go on the West Coast, and also to screw Oakland over because Montreal had Oakland's first round pick in the 1971 NHL draft and drafted Guy Lafleur with Oakland's pick because Oakland was the worst team. I forgot to mention Guy Charron. Yeah, he would have been on the 71 Habs for the playoffs, but they traded him to Detroit. Fran Huck, Jacques Lepierre, and Pierre Bouchard doing his best. Anyway, here we go. Lay it on. Unfortunately, 3 hits, but no penalties. Thank goodness for that. 3 minutes. Turkey? Fuck. Montreal? Ooh, a penalty. High speed attack forces an error and a penalty on Harper. Blackhawks Makita! Stopped by Rogie. Where's the goal scoring attack? And there's Buddy Hall. Fuck. Gresham. Montreal. Belleville for 2. Papa Powerful goal. A snake kick. 814. Chicago. Final minute. Magnuson will go off for 2. Do we have a chance to tie? Chance? Yes, we do. Skior, Papa power play goal. Gentleman, Jean Beliveau, his 10th from La Mer. We're tied to ease. 4 minutes later, a battle in aggression. Stupid aggression. It will be Tartif for 2. Well, we killed the zone on Campbell and Stapleton. Chance for Maloney, stopped by Rogie Vachon. Yeah, damn Maloney. Then a little bit later. Did I not talk? Oh, frig. I didn't talk about the Blackhawks and their players. I knew something was fishy. Anyway, Tardif for 2 minutes. I'll talk about them for the third period. Bobby Hall. Oh, how did Rogie get to that one? Nikita. 3 minutes later. Chance for Guy Lapointe. No. 3 minutes later. Well, it's the Golden Jet we expect this night from Nikita and Campbell in 2-1. So after 2 periods, the Blackhawks are up 2-1. All right, forgot to talk about the Blackhawks of 71. Bobby Hall with his kid brother Dennis. You know, Bobby Hall still slapping pucks with the Blackhawks. Not for long. He went to the WHA. Sid Makita, who once was a guy who took penalties on a whim, but thanks to his daughter's advice, he chose not to, and he became a better player. Pitt Martin around. Chico Mackey's Chico time. Jim Pappin, former Leaf. Brian Campbell, not. I don't think he's related to the Brian Campbell who was the Sabres defenseman in 2006. Cliff Coral. Jerry Pinder, Dan Maloney, for future Leaf. Louis Gotti, Eric Nestorenko still around. Pat Stapleton still around. Bill White, good defenseman who would be part of the 7th series. Jerry Korab, King Kong Korab, who would play for the Sabres. Dougie Moan, still around. Keith Magnuson, unfortunately, he was dead thanks to the efforts of one Rob Ramage. Doug Jarrett, Paul Schmier, Larry Romanowicz, Rick Foley. Here we go. 3 minutes into the game. Like brother. Dennis Hall scores. Tinder with the 3-1. We're in trouble. 3 minutes later, double hit. They're just cleaning the clock. Dennis Hall trying for number 2. No. Yard! Off of the cliff. Cliff Coral on second from Chico and Bobby. Oh, 4-1. We're in trouble. Moans and groans. Conway, no. Well, our 6-game winning streak comes to a crashing halt at Chicago Stadium. We lose 4-1. We just couldn't do it. Espo was on fire. Belleville did score, but both Halls scored with Pitt and Corral. You love me? Yeah. So we lose our 5th game, which means the next game we do has to be simulated. Chicago Boston tied 2-2. Buffalo wins 1-0. Gilles Perreault being the hero. Dick Duff with an assist. Vancouver beat Detroit, and Toronto lost to St. Louis. Wow. Friday Night Hockey, California wins on home turf 6-0. They only have won twice. Jarrett, Hextall, Eamon, Hampson, Fagné, and then Hampson. What happened? This team sucks. Saturday, well, our game against Pittsburgh has to be simulated. Philly, Chicago. Chicago wins 4-3. Minnesota shuts out LA the day after they got shut out 6-0 themselves. And we beat Pittsburgh 4-2. Meyer against Al Smith. Pittsburgh goes by Blackburn and Huberack. But Ferguson, Sheehan, Tardif, and BB Cornwallis scoring the goals. Boston ties the Rangers. So Boston keeps on tying instead of losing. St. Louis beats Vancouver, and the Leafs beat the hapless Red Wings. So we play in Detroit, the hapless Red Wings. So we join the action there. Toronto, Boston. Boston went 6-5. It was a close one. Plum versus Johnston. Toronto was up 3-0. Henderson, Keon, and Jim Harrison scored. Well, they scored late with Dory and Walton, but they scored in the final few seconds. Boston goes by Hodge, Espel, Busick, Carlton, Hodge, and then Bobby Orr scored the winning goal. Wow. Cal and Buffalo tied 3-3. LA and Chicago tied 3-3. Oh, can't simulate that one. Philly beats Vancouver, and the Rangers beat Pittsburgh. That's right. We're in Detroit, and it will be Meyer in that against Roy Edwards, who was the star of 4 goalies. Jim Rutherford, Don McLeod, who would do better in the WHA, and Jerry Gray. The Red Wings having Tom Webster, future NHL head coach, Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey, as he will. I believe this was his second last season, or did he finish in 1971? I think he finished in 1970, or was it 72 he left the NHL? I think he left one more season. No, I think this was the season Gordie Howe retired. Alex Delfacchio, still part of the production line, still playing. Dick Libet, Frank Mahovlich, who we would steal from Detroit later on. He went to Detroit from Toronto only because he was exhausted, because Punch and Luck was a dickwad. Gary Unger, better first days in St. Louis. Gary Bergman, Wayne Connolly, Rene Leclerc, Bruce McNagger, Yankee Sharon is scratched. That kind of means that we traded him. Mickey Raymond, we traded to Detroit. Billy D. Bill Collins, we traded away too. Oh, okay. Red Berenson. St. Louis would soon move Berenson to Detroit. Wow. Tim Egglestone. Man, St. Louis to Detroit must have made a big deal. Mike Robitaille and Arnie Brown not around. Hank Monteith, Don Luce, Kitchener. I didn't know he played for the Red Wings. Don Luce. Dale Rolfe, known 3 years later for getting his butt handed to him in a fight with the Rangers Flyers, which helped the Flyers win that game. Ron Harris, future Ranger, one of the 2 guys who inadvertently killed Bill Masterton. Jerry Hart, future Flyer and Islander, I think. Tom Miller and Al Carlander. Here we go. From the Olympia. 5 minutes later. And he scored! Not espresso, it's Del Vecchio. Coffee. He's hit from Connolly and Webster. 1-0. Then 4 minutes later, agitator. Just for skiers, a mistake, and Mark Tardif throws it in. There's a Tardif on America. His 8 from Petey and Redmond. Future Red Wing. Redmond. Aggression? He's with it on the microaggression. It's Mahovlich. And it's good! Power play goal. Cameron Hank Monteith is second from Hart and Webster. 2-1. Losing 6. So help me, hockey pucks. 5 minutes later. Vecchio trying to get a second of the night, and they don't. Man, Detroit and Montreal are fighting tooth and nail. Detroit is aggressive. Or else. Aggression? Go to us. Harper. Power play goes. Connolly from Jerry Hart in 2-1. Hart had 2 assists, and so does Webster. We're in trouble. 4 minutes later. Skier! Another Tardif on America. His night from Petey and Belleville makes it 3-2. 5 minutes later. Jerry Hart. That's what you get for having 2 assists. No shot by Cornwallis. A chance for a skill. Papa go the pocket rocket. He's gotten his groove back. His fourth. Trombley with an assist. We're tied. We get penalized. Tardif for 2, of course. I scored twice on it. No shot. Chance for the Redmond. So Vecchio stopped by Meyer. And we get penalized Trombley. Oh man, they just love giving us penalties here in Detroit. They capitalize steal. Peppa powerful goal. Tom Webster throws that stick. Take a jabber. His third point of the night from Howe and Unger makes it 4-3. Much later. Chance to tie. We do skier. Shellerman Jean Bellito, his second of the night, 11 for the season from Mahablich and Collins. Collins would do a little bit better coming over to Detroit, I guess. 2 minutes later, skier Bellifo. Is that a hat trick or no? No, it's not a hat trick. Stupid me. That's a second of the night. That's a second of the night. And Mickey Redmond with the assist, proving to Detroit that he would be a good asset once Montreal got rid of him. 5 minutes later, battle, aggression. A jet skier. Corn. Why, yay. Meep. His 7th from Mahablich and Tardif. Wow, Pete Mahablich must have like 4 assists. I don't know. 6-4. They're going with Jerry Gray. Detroit's like, we're done. Kelly with Mahablich. Of course it would be. And we can see Papa Parvigo. The Vecchio Coffee. Second of the night from Unger and Libet. 6-5. This shouldn't be happening. For the Red Wings. Del Ruff. Oh, it's already tied it. Empty net opportunities now. And Lemaire puts it 100 feet away from Rochefort. It's now 7-5. We win. Montreal Gagne. 6 goals in the third period. We were down 4-3. We rally back and win 7-5. Meyer beats Edwards. Detroit goes by Delvecchio, Monteith, Connolly, Webster, and Delvecchio. Our goals. Tardif, Richard, Belleville, Cornway, and Lemaire. How many points? How many assists did Pete Mahavlich have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5. I called it. I said he had 4 assists, and I was right. Pete Mahavlich with 4 assists, and Montreal wins 7-5 and gets our groove back to do. Now we're into. Now we're in December. Philly, Vancouver. Vancouver beats Philly. Philly's useless. We head to Pittsburgh now. Boston will lose to the Blackhawks 5-2 as Espel beats Cheevers. Marcotte and Espel, but Chicago goes by Makita, Mackey, Brian Chico with the second, and then Dennis Hall. So finally, Boston loses, and it's Chicago. Cal and Minnesota tie. Rangers beat the Blaz, and the Leafy Poos beat the Kings. We go to Pittsburgh. I think last game of the video. Yeah. So anyway, Montreal goes to Pittsburgh. We got Rogie. They got Al Smith, who's the backup to Pinkley. Cam Newton, not the football player, and Paul Hoganson. Hogan! By defense. Pittsburgh's players. Sean Protofo, Dean Prentice, the former Ranger, Keith McCurry, Greg Police, call the police. Brian Hextall, who is related to Ron Hextall, and Brian Hextall Jr., because Brian Hextall Sr. was the guy who scored the winning goal for the Rangers in the 1940 finals against the Leafs. Andy Bathgate, speaking of former Leaf and former Ranger. Kanchenko, Ronnie Schock, former Blues playoff hero in 1968, not in our simulation. Nick Hargebuck, Wally Boyer, former SEAL. Dunk McCallum, Rod Sane, Glenn Saver, yes, that Glenn Saver. Dwayne Rupp, Bob Borovich, Val Fontaine, Mr. Clean. Bob Blackburn, Brian Watson, the policeman. Johnny Stewart, not that John Stewart. Yvonne Lebra, who would do better with the Capitals and get his number 7 retired by the Capitals, even though I don't really think he deserved it. Jim Morrison, not from the Doors. Robin Burns, Sheldon Kitchener, and Rick Castle. You may be thinking, how do I know Ken Gieser is a Kitchener Ranger? Well, I remember a story I read about him sending Bobby Orr head over heels in the OHA. So I know my stuff. Anyway, a few minutes into the game. Prentice makes perfect. It's 6 from McCallum and Boyer. 3 minutes later, battle, aggression. Super aggressive. Harbuck for 2. Do we score? We do. Power play goal. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You're bowled by my hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey. His fifth from Rejon Peanut Pool makes it 1-1. 4 minutes later. Agitator. We retaliated, and it's Harper. No shot from Shock. Chance for Wooly Boyer, and Vachon says, 4 minutes later. Aggression. Oh, it's a 5-minute major for Lemaire. Lemaire, fuck. That's one. Drake Police. Plus the Police. 7 from Hextall and 1 5-minute major, Pittsburgh can score any number of goals. Shock. Why? Why? Well, fortunately for us, we only give up one. Chance for Pete Mahler score. Damn it. And a save by Spiff. A chance for Schenko. Oh. They're killing the clock on us, baby. Penalty, and it will be McCallum for 2. That's with the tie, Ferguson. No. Ooh. No shot from Bellyville. Come on, Bellyville. Byron Watson. Yeah! Power play goal with 6 seconds left. Shock Lemaire making up for his major. He scores from Surgeon Pocket Rocket. It's 2-2. Oh, by the way, ties also count just like a loss that we have to submit at the next game. 5 minutes later. Boyer. Can we take advantage again? We sure can. Skill. Power play goal. Peanut. Rejon Wool, his third. JC Tremblay with assist. 3-2. And 4 minutes later, action. McCreary can't do anything about it. 5 minutes later, we're trying to kill the clock. Chance for Brian Hextall at a stop by Brogy. The net's gonna be empty. And JC Tremblay from 100 feet away poops it in the net. Honorary with assist. We win 4-2. Yippee. Wait, hold the phone. This thing isn't over. Now, baby. A big win for us. We were down 2-1 after one period. It looked like, hope is lost. Oh, woe is us. Well, yep. We scored 3 power play goals. We win 4-3. Pittsburgh goals by Prentice, Police, Woodridge. Our goals by Redmond, Lemaire, Houle, and Tremblay. 4-3, we win. But Thursday, we play a rare back-to-back. Boston beats Buffalo 4-3. They got their revenge back in Detroit with the giant win over Los Angeles. So our next game will be December 3rd against the Blues. So hopefully we do well. Hopefully. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do